Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tea Time with Tanya McKenzie. And I always have the coolest guests to talk all things PR and brands. I won't keep you too long, but I will let you know one of the things that I absolutely adore about this person. Okay. She's cute. She's smart. We kind of look alike, we got that in common. But cult marketing, does that pique your interest? That's the thing about public relations is our job is really to start to pique the interest of our viewers, our listeners, our readers, and the people that we are pitching to. Cult marketing, like I needed to know who this girl was. But lucky enough, she showed up in our PR lunch hour on Twitter Spaces. And that has to be one of the coolest things that has happened in a long time. First of all, Twitter Spaces, okay? And if you haven't already joined us, you definitely need to not miss it this Friday. We took last Friday off because of the holidays, but this Friday, PR Lunch Hour will be back. And today, her and I are going to talk about some things that I'm sure we will talk about again on Friday with the whole group. So if you're looking for, a community of public relations, marketing, creative professionals that are from all over the world, PR Lunch Hour is perfect for you. And if you have not yet gotten addicted to Twitter like the rest of us, we invite you to join us. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on Miss Ari Kill. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hi, Tanya. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm super excited. This is like my Christmas present early, okay? Having you on screen with me. Like we're in a room together with PR Lunch Hour, but I don't get to see your beautiful face. This is extra special. Hopefully, I'll be able to see you live one day, either in New York or LA, or maybe we can meet in the middle.
Absolutely.
But I want you to tell the people about you and what PR is to you. So before you even get into what your specialty is, let them know what you think PR is. What is it to you, ma'am?
Okay, so PR to me, it's more than just communications and just the things that we see in articles, the textbook definitions. We see all of that all the time. And for me, on a very deep level, PR is almost a spiritual experience for me. I feel that beyond, you know, at the root of it, as a publicist, we're getting attention for people and brands. And there's a lot that comes with getting attention. And I know that, I'm going to talk about a little bit later, psychology, but getting attention, I think we take that so lightly, just getting attention. And it's really a place that you really have to be in your mind, able to handle it. The more attention you get, the more comes with that. And when you do get the attention that you do want, you have to maintain that. So I really feel that self-awareness and your intuition, all of those things that, you really have to be mindful as you're building a brand and you're building your persona. And PR to me, going back to the question, really is just a holistic experience that is just more than communication. It's really just having your mindset really match what you're building as well.
Oh my God. You said spiritual, like you had me on a whole nother level. Listen here. You just said something that has resonated with me and something that I've been trying to get people to understand. So I'm going to take you back to a couple weeks ago when they put me on blast and they told everybody that I was Woman of the Year for Redondo Beach. There's a problem for me with PR individuals not acknowledging their own wins, right? So I already know I have a problem with it. It makes me uncomfortable, I think, because we're not the story. We are behind the scenes. And then when we become the story, we don't know what to do with that. But also with that, I recognize that as much of an honor as that was, it comes with a lot of pressure. Like once you get it, you cannot back down. Like you have to own every iota of the spotlight that you get, right? And another thing we teach people about PR is you can't just do this one great thing and then get publicity about it and then you don't do anything else. Like you constantly got to be churning out the new stuff, right? You got to be thinking on your toes. You have to be innovative. Yes, at whatever your profession is, whether it's an entrepreneur or an entertainer, you constantly have to be reinventing yourself, going up a level. Talk to me about how you get clients to recognize that you can't just relax on your laurels once you get publicity and what you do with it that makes it so valuable.
I'm very grateful, and I can't always say this like throughout my career, but recently I've been aligning with more clients that are more aligned with who I am and who I am becoming spiritually. And I don't mean, when I say spiritually, I feel like people, they use that as like religion, and I'm not talking about any of that. I'm really talking about your mindset. I value my clients that, hey, I'm going to go meditate. I care about my mental health. I care about my wellness. How do you expect to run a company and a brand as big as people want it to be? People laugh at people like Kim Kardashian and people like that, but it really does take a certain level of mental clarity to deal with all of this. So I really value those clients that take care of their mental health. That's actually a priority for me, or something that really resonates with me when I decide I'm going to work with the client. Like, do you take care of your mental health? Are you in therapy if you have some issues? Because all of that is going to prevent you from reaching your full potential.
Okay, so I just love you. I feel like I just want to pick your brain forever. But let's start here. What is cult marketing? Because I know for some people that might think about Waco or Jim Jones, cult might be a bad word. But for you, it's amazing. So talk to us about cult marketing.
So cult marketing, like you said, Tanya, when people hear that word cult, they get very, very, defensive, because, you do think of that, the bad things, but it's so much more than that. Cult brands really is more so an iconic brand. It's a brand that has lasted for, over 10 years even. Even if it hasn't lasted that long, the brand has resonated so much with the community and with the public that they don't even necessarily need to spend money on marketing, because the fans and the supporters market the brand itself. And something that I love about cult marketing is that it encompasses all of the spirituality and the things that, I've spoken about. It really encompasses that, understanding your target audience and understanding, yourself, because I strongly believe that your audience should be an extension of yourself, especially if you're like an influencer or a persona. Your audience should be an extension of who you are. And I think that's also when you see artists and different personalities, when as they grow and they get with the label, or they get with another organization that is in control of their creativity, it's hard for them to really resonate with who they are and their audience, because that's not who they really are. So I guess what I'm saying is that you don't want to lose yourself in the process of creating a brand. Right. You don't. You want to maintain that authenticity so that you have the opportunity to be around for the long term. Who wants to build a brand that disappears in a year? And it happens.
Not only that, but it's important that you recognize that you are married to your brand. You are building a brand that you want to resonate and touch other people. If it's not authentic to you, which, first of all, being an entrepreneur, you have to recognize that this is not a 9 to 5, right? None of what anybody that builds a big business, it's not a 9 to 5. Absolutely. So it has to be something that feels good to you, that empowers you, that levels up your voice to help other people level up using or buying into your brand. Like, you got to love it. So you cannot be inauthentic or just put out what you think people want to hear or see. Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of people, like, we live in a society where, people want to get away from those 9 to 5 jobs. They want to be able to be free from that, structure. But it takes so much to be able to build a brand that you can actually live off of and have your family eat off of. It's not something that happens overnight. And I think that we do see I feel like the media shows us all of these success stories, and it kind of glamorizes the process, which it should. That's our job too, to make things look easy. But at the same time, there's a lot of work that we don't see that goes on behind the scenes. And I feel like the brands that really, when you're talking about disrupting a market. There's a lot of different, cult brands. The reason why they are cult brands and they've been around for so long is because they did something new that's never been done before. And that takes a lot of courage. A lot of people are going to be looking at you crazy. You have to push through that. And again, that goes back to your mindset to really stick to your authenticity and what you're selling. So, yes.
Absolutely. Now, get into the spirituality a little bit more for me, because that is definitely something, the psychology of marketing and PR and gaining exposure for a brand. So, talk about the psychology piece of it for you and how you break that down to your clients for them to understand in a way that they can embrace it.
I feel that PR as well should be looked at as a science. And I feel like psychology is one of those sciences that we can use to really, understand what it means to put ourselves in our audience's shoes. I think sometimes we're so after the money. We want to sell our products. We want people to look at us. We want to be recognized. But, what is your customer thinking about when they're buying your product? What are they thinking about the colors, the logo? How did it make them feel? And I feel that those are things and those are questions that people leave out when they're building a brand. And that's really the psychology that really helps you start building that relationship with your audience when you first release your product and launch your new class or, release something new. And also, I feel that, I don't even know if this is possible, but I feel like every entrepreneur should have like a basic level of understanding of copywriting. There's a lot of psychology that goes into copywriting and developing your captions, developing your message, and developing the words that go along with your brand, how you speak. And you want to make sure you're speaking in a way that resonates with the audience that you're selling to. I see so many people talking in a way, whether that be grammatically correct or not, people are talking in a way that does not resonate with the people that they're selling to, so they're not going to even when you can't see someone, all we're seeing is products online. Sometimes we don't even see the person's face that's selling it. So those words really have to mean something. And that's where the psychology comes in. And a lot of people miss that point.
Messaging matters. And I did a webinar for agility about why it's important to master your brand before you start marketing and advertising and doing PR. And I think it's incredibly important because you also have the opportunity to confuse your buyer or your target market, right? So and this kind of goes against what some people say about entrepreneurship, like just start, just get it going. I mean, you should do that, but there are some things that you should master about your brand, about your product, about your company before you just do it, right? And then you start putting things out and then you just decide to switch it up. Right. And your target market is like, well, who are you again? Like, what?
And then something that I also see is like luxury. People throw that word luxury around on their products so willingly. And of course, the word luxury is subjective. It has different definitions to everyone. But I feel that when you throw that word, it means high end. So are you selling to a high-end clientele? And you really have to understand those things when you're I think people throw that word luxury on their products sometimes. I see it a lot with candles. I see it a lot.
I'm like, is that a $500 candle? Like, what are we talking about right now?
So I feel like people think that that's going to make them rich or something. Honestly, that's the psychology behind it. I personally think they think if I throw that word on it, I'm going to make a little bit more money for this product. But really, sometimes you're really not. That's not the smartest thing to do.
How about some luxury customer service? I'm okay with that. But so listen, you were talking about high end. Yes. Let's talk about the culture a little bit. We just had a loss in the culture that was with a high end brand. Talk to me about what that means from a PR perspective.
Yes. So Virgil Abloh, as everyone pretty much knows, he was a huge inspiration to the fashion industry, to the Black creative community. He's really opened doors and has really showed, people that, creativity is not something. Louis Vuitton is such a huge brand, and to see him in a position so high in a luxury brand as another cult brand is just phenomenal. And I guess something that really I've been seeing a lot on social media regarding his actual products that people have bought is just reselling them. That's a huge issue that cult brands have, is just the capitalizing off of like reselling items. It has gotten completely out of hand.
Hmm.
So I see a lot of that being discussed. I really wish, Virgil Abloh's legacy, I really hope that they really show his impact in a way that it really can live on, if that makes sense. It's not just for right now. Like I hope that people are able to see, his impact and the inspiration of people walking in his footsteps now.
So their job really as a organization and a cult brand that has held this man and his talents in their hand for so long is
Right.
to enhance his legacy. It's
Right.
almost like Kate Spade passed, but
State.
her legacy still lives on, and those that are running her business continue to show the impact that she has had on the fashion world and for women all over the world.
Right.
So I do hope, just like you said, is they will continue to enhance, not even leave it at the same level, because just like any artist, I'm a Tupac fan, and after he died, they released all this music, right?
Right.
I'm almost 150% sure that there's so much that they haven't even released yet from him, right? And they do it in a way that allows for there to be grace and adoration for the immense talent that he was, in a
Right.
way that allows for us, because this is important too, to continue to grow and elevate that brand and his work, especially for the culture.
Absolutely.
I hope they recognize that, because even though that's not a Black owned brand,
In
what they
streetwear.
are, yes, it
In
is hugely important to how even they will be remembered. Yeah.
Right. And I feel that streetwear culture, I have very strong opinions on streetwear culture. And I guess the first cult brand that I really, really locked in on in streetwear culture was Supreme, and how they developed their cult following so fast. Supreme is huge. But I feel the same energy from, Off-White, Virgil Abloh's brand, with the belts and the shoes and the different items that he had that were personalized. And I just really hope that, streetwear culture is so different than other, luxury markets. He made streetwear culture luxury.
Yeah.
So it's still very new, and I'm really interested in seeing how they really keep that legacy alive without making it, I guess, while still keeping it high fashion.
While without devaluing it.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Without because that's really hard to do at streetwear. It really does lose its value the more you sell it, and people turn it into this game, and it's just not the same appeal.
Right. So, what's your best advice to a small company that's looking to become a cult brand?
Okay, so number one is, don't listen to all of the noise. That's number one. I think when anyone is building a brand, we like to see all of the things that are online, and it's great to take advice from the blogs and from other marketers and people that are doing that also. But if you're building a cult brand, then the first thing you will understand about yourself is that you're unlike anyone else. So it's very hard to follow a strategy and think that you're going to get the same results from what you're doing. It's really also important not to focus so much on the followers. I think people focus so much on capitalizing off, I need 1,000 followers, I need 10K, or else someone's going to see me. I don't have it. I don't have clout. I don't have this. I don't have that if I don't have a certain amount of followers. When if you had like even 500 followers that were consistently buying your product, that is huge. So I feel that if you're a small business, really focus on connecting with your community and really finding out who you're selling to and who your target audience actually is. Because I feel like that is something that isn't really observed enough. I think it's just always the glitz and glamour. I need to get the pictures done. I need to get the product up. But who are you really selling to?
Do you know your target audience? I had to do a training when I was an exec at the Y, and we were talking about culture, right? And they asked me, Tanya, what is culture to you? And I think they asked me thinking I was going to say something Black, right? I was just going to say something Black. Culture is your lifestyle. Culture is how you were raised. Culture is who you are around on a regular basis. Culture is how you live. So the culture of a stay-at-home mom, the culture of a farmer, the
Yeah.
culture of an entrepreneur, they're different, and it's not based on your nationality, and
No.
how you get to these people is going to be important. So yes, content matters, but your target market matters too. Just like you were saying, just because you throw luxury on there, you better make sure that you are speaking to people that buy luxury, not
Yes.
speaking
Yes.
to those that are trying to keep up with the Joneses. You
Yes.
have to, everything has to equate, everything has to balance out. So if you're speaking luxury culture, you better be using bigger words than,
Yes. Luxury. There are luxury words.
there are luxury words, just
And
like there are there there are some unluxury words.
there's some unluxury words that you use, and then
Right.
then we know, we can tell.
But the content matters based on your the culture of the target market that you're speaking to. That's why it's important. So when we speak to people about who is your target market and you say everybody,
Oh,
everybody ain't your target market, boo.
that is my biggest pet peeve, is when a client says that to me, is, who are you selling to? I want everyone. I want to get everyone's attention. I want to be international. And those are all great goals to have, but you have to break it off in chunks. And it's very unrealistic to say that you want everyone. Let's say you're selling diapers, for example. Not everyone has a baby that needs baby diapers. So you're not selling to everyone.
And depending on where they are from, they might not be using disposable diapers. So who are you speaking to? There are different types of product
Yes.
that different types of people buy. And if you want to maximize your profits and maximize your ROI for marketing, PR, advertising, you have to know who you're speaking to because the content matters. Listen, I want you to talk to me really quick about other things in the culture right now that are on top of mind for you,
Yeah.
that we can kind of banter from a PR perspective.
I guess we're heading towards Q1, and I guess the biggest thing that a lot of people don't know in January is, in January we celebrate religious Freedom Day.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I really want to, I guess, talk about is how is, getting a cult following for a brand similar to getting, a following for a church, or
Ooh.
getting a following for a religious base, because I have worked with several religious clients, which I can speak on as well. But it has really taught me that a lot of the things that we see in religion can also be mirrored in our marketing strategies, and really getting that huge cult following.
Speak on it.
So that's a little something that is taboo, but it's something that I really feel that is in the media. I see it a lot. I've been seeing a lot more, blogs say cult brand, and using cult following and religion side by side.
Is it really though? Is it really taboo? Because I've talked to some PR people, some marketing people that say, listen here, and don't y'all get all judgy on me. Their primary job is to get people to donate. It's to get money for the
Yeah.
church and for the pastor. That's their job. So even though it's not said out loud in the congregation, for those of us that aren't sitting in the pews and we know this business, it's actually not taboo. It's like you're doing your job well if you sitting in a mega church.
So there is something I have been studying, and I guess we can discuss this a little bit. It's called giving marketing. It's another style of marketing that churches use, and a lot of influencers have been using it as well. And it's really just, you see it a lot on Kickstarter, and people that have really Kickstarter, knowing how to use Kickstarter and these fundraising platforms really is an art in itself. So if you're able to raise money for your brand, like that is like one of the biggest assets that you can really, if you know how to raise money, it's like a huge thing. And giving marketing is really just persuading people and really motivating them to give. It's really, really motivating them. Why should they give to you? And it's really a tactic that's really been talked about.
So it's having someone that knows how to tap into your vulnerabilities
Yes.
and exploit your heart for the
Yes.
benefit of the church.
Yes. Giving marketing. Giving marketing.
Did I
And
say that right?
yes, you did. Yes, you did. And there's actually like it's a collection plate. You know, when during COVID last year, a lot of churches had to get creative with how they were accepting payments because they couldn't accept them anymore. So there's like a lot of Cash App tech platforms that a lot of this is huge that are used online so that you can still tithe. And how do you still, you have then that really caused churches to really use digital marketing to promote tithes and get that money and really understand, I know it's a hard time, like using those words and that empathy, really tugging on the empathy. And that's really what it is. Empathy in marketing. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. Understanding your audience so that you can give them what they need, and also, using that vulnerable positioning for your advantage as well. So,
But understand that the person that is doing that
yes,
has a tap on the psychology of his target audience.
yes,
Like let's be clear. They have used psychology to tap into their target market from a very psychological standpoint.
yes, absolutely. And I guess what also, I know that you've probably seen a lot of this too, Tanya, is you see a lot of the spiritual gurus.
Mm.
Also, that's also another thing that is kind of being paired with religion right now and influencer marketing is, you see all these spiritual gurus. Some of them even I've seen charge $7,000 for these meditation retreats, these holistic meditation retreats in Bali and all these exotic places, and people buy them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a marketing strategy. I think I've spoken to you about an influencer. Her name is Teal Swan. It's
Mm-hmm.
very popular, and there's so many like her that have built wellness retreats off of their following. They have cult followings, and they make so much money that they're building wellness retreats that people go to. And it's a $1 million industry, and that kind of goes into mindful marketing, which is really like capitalizing off of, I guess, the spirituality kind of that comes with, for example, burnout, capitalizing off of people's burnout from their jobs. These high level C-suite people, hey, here's a C-suite leadership conference in Bali where we are going to meditate and do these things. Just really, you know, showing that mindfulness can be at the leadership level as well is just getting really, really huge.
So it's not a fluke. That's what we're telling you is it's not a fluke. It's something that is well crafted. It is targeted. The content that's used is psychologically proven to work
Yes.
based on the intended outcome.
And it's not always bad. I feel like you can use these because all brands, especially in advertising, all brands use, some level of psychology to really like get you to go to the new restaurant. We have deals, we have specials, we have these things, just kind of like dangling these incentives in your face to really get you to go. That's all psychology. But, some brands have taken it too far. And that's when you really, I feel like I look at it as a learning experience because you can really learn how far, people will take sometimes even their following, which is why you have to be mindful of your own following. Don't make the same mistakes for yourself and your brand. But I do feel that those tactics are being used on a regular basis from our biggest cult brands, even some of the smaller brands that are now just getting noticed.
What are some of your favorite clients to work with? What do your favorite clients look like? What industry are they in? Talk to me about that.
I love niche clients. I love clients that are doing something that may not really be getting a lot of attention. For example, there's a lot of tech companies that are, dabbling into the mindfulness and wellness, space, whereas
Mhm.
tech has always been very data driven. There is no creativity really in tech. So I really love when clients really step outside of that bubble that is traditional in their industry and they try something that is completely not being done at all, and they really completely just kill it. As my name, they kill it. They kill it, and they really just are able to connect with their audience and show something new in the industry. I want to be a part of that.
I love that. It's like bringing attention to something that is just underappreciated,
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly. Something that's underappreciated. I do a lot of research on various industries, just especially wellness, the even a little bit of the sex industry, just how we are, how are people, like even in film and stuff, really representing the female body, the male body? How are we representing ourselves in the media from even that perspective? I feel that we need to be more authentic in our expressions from all areas.
I absolutely love that. Now, before I let you go, and because it just broke today, Jack Dorsey leaving Twitter.
Oh, I saw that.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think
Is this
that
good? Is this good for the brand or is it not? And you answer, and then I got an answer.
I feel that it's good for the brand, more so for himself. It seems like it's something that he's been really thinking about and wanting to do, and maybe branch out and do something else that he feels is bigger for himself. I feel that Twitter is another cult brand. Twitter definitely
Absolutely.
is a cult brand. And I know that I just hope that they replace whoever they replace his role with, that it's someone that can stay with the trends and keep, that same consistency with Twitter in itself, and they don't change it too much, because I feel like that's something that's going on right now with social media overall, is that we're trying to change it too much, and it's making it not even like the same experience anymore. So I just really hope that they enhance the experience now that he's gone, and they don't ruin it. We don't need to lose another social media platform.
You said lose trust in another social
Yes,
media
lose
platform.
trust.
So
Lose trust. Yes.
I think I was interviewed about this today, and I actually think it's an amazing thing that he's doing because he's leaving it on a high, right? We
Yes.
talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Is he's leaving it on a high, and he has set them up for success already. So we have Twitter Spaces
Yeah,
now. We have Twitter communities
I love
now.
that.
They've given access to professional platform now to individuals and
The tip
entrepreneurs.
jar. The tip jar. You can literally
The
get paid
tip
by
jar.
the
You
file.
can monetize,
Yes.
and they haven't even completely released all of these things yet. Some of them are still in beta test, but he's literally leaving at a time where they're going to be rolling out new amenities that are
Yeah.
helpful for businesses. And people are still trusting Twitter a lot more than they trust anything else because what? They've been consistent.
Yes.
So when
Absolutely.
your brand is consistent and it's continuously improving and it has attributes that other platforms have, but better, I
Right.
mean, girl, he's winning right now.
He is. He is. I do agree that he did leave on a high note. That's always the best time to just get out. And he can do something else. He's still gonna always be remembered as the person who was responsible for Twitter.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect time for him to explore his other options.
I absolutely love that. So we actually have your website
Yes,
down at the bottom, and
yes,
we want people to listen, y'all. Go to this girl's website, find out what she's been doing. She has some press there. She gets press. She does her thing, but let the people know how to stay in contact with you, follow what you're doing, and if they decide they want to get into a little cold marketing.
yes. The easiest way to reach me is, of course, to go through my website. You can always set up a side coffee chat with me in the morning as well if you want to talk about cults. I love this topic. But you can also follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be releasing a lot more content going into towards quarter 1. And I am also going to be having some exclusive cult marketing content on my YouTube channel that I'm going to be starting back up, called Cult Worthy, where I just go deeper into more cult brands and discuss more of that. And lastly, I also have a cult marketing checklist that's going to be coming out closer to the new year, where you can kind of just check off and see where you are in the cult marketing process yourself, to see if you're on your way to building your own cult following.
I love that. I adore you. I think you know that. But I want
Yeah.
y'all to know, if you want some more Ari or just some more PR conversation, if you're still trying to figure out, if you need PR, if you don't, how you go about doing that, who you should work with, the cool thing about our PR community is we're not competitive. We actually share resources. If someone's not good at something, we pass it along to the next person that might be great at it. We have people
Right.
that are with agencies, that are entrepreneurs, that do
Yeah.
multiple things. I think it's important that you know that you have options. It's not an end all be all. It's not all in. You have options. Ari is definitely one of my favorite options.
You're my
Just to
favorite
talk
person.
to, girl,
I,
to
I guess
talk to laugh with. Say that again.
I just wanted to add something else too that I've also very passionate about that I've recently just, that I've helped a lot of clients do as well. If you're interested, if anyone is ever interested in astrology and your natal chart, I believe that there's a way to link this to public relations and really having certain aspects of yourself shine through when you're developing yourself on social media. I feel that astrology really has taught me and spirituality has really taught me that we all have special gifts. And it's really important not to always focus on the things that we can't do, but really enhance and study and really build up the things that we do have inside of us.
See, I told y'all she is special. She my special boo. Fridays, hashtag PR Lunch Hour on Twitter.
Be there.
Ari's on all of these platforms. She's amazing. You have her website down there. Please tap in. If you have any questions, either one of us is happy to help you. Stay in touch and know that, yeah, if you have a business, if you're in business, if you're a living species, PR is for you. You just got to find out which one.
Right.
See you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Tanya.